Good morning, everybody. The shiur will be, of course, Leilui Nishmat, all those who were murdered, and for the health, the Berechit Shlema, so all the wounded, and Bezrat Hashem, to the return of all the captures that were kidnapped. We are in terrible times, and we're starting our book from Berechit, from the beginning. Berechit bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. God created the world, and He created the heaven and the earth. And one of the big questions is, why is the Torah starting with this and not with the first mitzvah? And where is the reason for the creation? Because we see an unbelievable thing, that in the beginning of the parasha, God creates the world, and in the end of the parasha, we are being told that God is going to destroy the world. And why? And everything is because of Adam, of the man. The man who was created by God, and for him everything was created. And when men are sinners and corrupted, God decides, that's it, I'm going to finish this world. There's only one light, which is Noah, which we'll talk about him next week. But right now we want to understand, why is the Torah starting Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, and what is this really mean? So first of all, we see the creation of the man here, because what are we? We are built from heaven and earth, from a neshama that comes from heaven, and from earth, from the body that comes from the earth. And this combination is really what it's all about. The shamayim, the heaven, is what we should let's say is the tachlis, is the task, is the mission, is where we should go. In other words, it's the holiness, it's the spiritual place, heaven. And earth is human being, or the will, the ratzon, wanting, the will to do. And without will, if a man hasn't got a will, doesn't want to do anything, there is nothing there. So the ratzon, the will, unfortunately, from the beginning is, as it's being told to Cain, lapetach hatat rovetz. First of all, we think about ourselves. We want for us, me. That's the center. And God says, shamayim va'aretz. No, you are not the center. You have a mission. You have a mission to connect the earthly part that comes from the earth, the body, to heaven, to the neshama, up there. You take all the materialistic things of this world and connect it to heaven. We are being told about the creation twice. The first time, everything is Bereshit bara Elokim. All the time we talk about Elokim. Vayomer Elokim, Vayar Elokim, Vayivdel Elokim. And Elokim is really, what is Elokim? Elokim is the name of judgment, Midat Adin. And when we talk about Midat Adin, we see that afterwards the Torah starts and tells us again, the whole story again, but now we have two names of God. אלה תולדות השמיים והארץ בעיברם ביום עשות השם אלוקים. Two names. Hashem is chesed, is a measure, is a mercy, love, chesed. And Elokim is din, judgment. So God says, our sages said that God saw that the world cannot stand only with Midat Adin. So involved with Midat Adin, the chesed, the mercy, chesed, charity, and love, together with Midat Adin. So now we have both of them together. But we have to understand, the idea was Midat Adin, but who can stand in Midat Adin? In everything you do, you're going to be punished. Nobody can stand it. But the idea has to sit in our mind, because you see, God thought and then He created. This is God. He knew exactly what He's doing. God is just telling us where we should understand that from one side, that we have chesed, it's good, it's very good. But the idea was to do whatever God tells us to do. And our mission is to connect ourselves fully to heaven as much as we can. But God knows that the way is very hard, so He involved in this chesed. So if you do the right things, but you're not successful, but you have the right direction, God is with you. God is going to help you. And one of the main things when we're talking about the connection between earth and heaven, spirituality and materialistic things, the neshama and the body, it's also this world, the next world. We were praying for rain a few days ago, and it's very interesting to see. From one side, Rashi says, "V'chol siach hasadeh terem haya ba'aretz," and nothing grow. Why did nothing grow? He says, but at the third day, there was all written, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created all the plants, the grass and everything. So what does it mean? Terem haya ba'aretz, there is nothing on earth, nothing is growing. But says Rashi, Ki lo imtir. What is Ki lo imtir? The Torah tells us, Ki lo imtir Hashem Elokim al haaretz, because God didn't bring the rain yet. Why didn't He bring the rain? Ve'adam ayin, because there is no human being, there is no man to work the land. Says, what's the meaning of work the land? To pray for the rain. There is nobody to pray for the rain. And if nobody prays for the rain is not going to go down. And if the rain doesn't go down, nothing grows. So in other words, we see this connection between us and heaven. This is shamayim va'aretz. This connection must be all times. Without our praying, that's why we saw on Shmini Atzeret, the Chazan wears a kittel, and all the melody is in the melody of Ne'ilah. This is one of the important things, the rain. We pray for rain. Without rain, there is nothing. Nothing is going to survive. And the rain is Geshem. Geshem is Gashmiut. If we take it in Hebrew, Geshem, Gashmiut. Geshem is materialistic. Gashmiut, the physical side of the world. Gashmiut, Geshem. So in other words, God is telling us, if you're going to pray to God, rain, which is Geshem, Gashmiut, which is all the physical stuff, all the materialistic stuff, which is Parnos, and it's going to grow. We're going to get all the good stuff from up there if you pray to God. And if there is no human being, if there is no man to pray to God, nothing's going to happen. And this is exactly what the Torah is telling us. This connection is written in the beginning. It's only going to happen if we will do the right things here, down here, and then pray to God and do the right things in the eyes of God, and everything is going to go up, and then the good is going to go down. And while we do this, we have to understand one of the interesting things. We went through a procedure that started on Rosh Hashanah, went on Yom Kippur, and then Sukkot, and then Simchas Torah, and now we are in the normal daily life. And if we thought that everything is finished and that's it, now we're going to live right, that's not the idea. The idea is to take the holiness, the light from the holidays, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Simchas Torah, and put them in the daily life. In other words, sanctify the physical side of life. Sanctify your daily life. And unfortunately, on Simchas Torah happened this terrible thing. Hundreds have been murdered. Thousands are being wounded. And hundreds are missing, and we don't know where they are, if they're captured, if they were kidnapped. Terrible. What is God trying to tell us? And sometimes we think about those things and we don't realize. God wants us to connect earth and heaven in the right way, which is with love. Love to God, or love to human being, love to your brother. That was the whole idea of all those Yom Tovim. We were holding the 4 spices, and within this is the Arava, which got nothing, no good deeds, no Torah. We talked about it. But without it, there is no Am Yisrael. If we are not together, we've got nothing. Unfortunately, what happened in this last year? Terrible. Why was the temple destroyed? Sinat Chinam, hatred, for nothing. What was happening lately? That this Sinat Chinam went all over. The people were divided. And we saw on Yom Kippur people coming to disturb the most holiest prayers of the year. And the people that were praying there were the same as them that wanted to feel Yom Kippur. They were not religious. They were traditional. They wanted to feel the tradition, to understand where we come from. And then a lot of other things that's not the time to talk about. Because of this, the temple was destroyed. So if we want to get out of this bad situation we are in, look what's happening now. Everybody's together. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. We have to pray God and tell Him, God, what is happening now is going to go on forever. We are going to love each other. Though we have different opinions, doesn't matter. We're going to love each other. We're going to appreciate each other. We're going to help each other, like we see now. And if you pray to God and tell Him this, maybe it's going to happen now. And we're going to finish this terrible war that we're in. My son went on Sunday to the supermarket to buy. And there were a lot of people, Monday, a lot of people standing there on the line buying food and thinking, everybody's afraid there's not going to be food, water, whatever. And there is a big line. And people starting rowing. My son is very sensitive. He couldn't stand it. After hearing all the terrible things, people are rowing in the supermarket. He started crying. He says, people, are you not ashamed? Our soldiers are fighting. People have been murdered, kidnapped, wounded. And we're rowing. Everybody stopped. They realized. How do we do this? There is a famous story about Chassid that once he told his Rebbe, I want to ask you something. Every time I come here, I'm feeling the holiness and the light. And then I go home, and after a few days, I've got nothing. I forgot everything, and I'm in the dark again. So the Rebbe told him, there were two friends walking, and night came, and they're in the middle of a forest. One of the friends takes out a torch and lights the way. Both of them are going. But unfortunately, at the junction, his friend had to go right, and he had to go left. And it's dark. So the friend with the light goes, and he stays in the darkness, doesn't know where to go. What should he do? What can he do? He should have thought about it before. He should have taken a torch also, knowing he's going in the darkness. So he has to take a torch that is going to light him the way. He says the same is with you. You come here and everything is around you, but you don't take it in. It doesn't stay with you. If you take a torch, you take some of the light and now go with this light, put it in. Not that it's going to go from this ear out of the other ear. Like a lot of times that's what we're doing. And it's exactly the idea of connecting earth with heaven. To understand that it's not the outside which is important. It is important, but the inside is much more important. When you do a blessing, when you do a mitzvah, how do you do it? Do you think about what you say? The power of Am Yisrael is the inner side. And I am not alone, as we says. The will, earth is the will, the ratzon. But this ratzon, this will, should not be egoistic. You should go out of this. It's like this morning I was talking about a Cain and Hevel. Cain and Hevel were going, and they divided the world between them. Cain says, they have the whole world, but they divided the world between them. Cain says to Hevel, we have to divide the world. Everybody, it's going to be order. Everybody has to. So Hevel took the animals, and Cain took the earth. But now he sees Hevel is feeding his animals on his fields. He says, well, what's this? This is mine. So Hevel tells him, what do you mean? What did you think, that I'm going to feed the animals, the cattle, and everything with air? Of course, I have to feed them with grass, and I have to do it here. I need it. And we all know how it ended. The first murder. He murdered his brother. But let's see what he did. He did a stupid mistake because he didn't listen to his brother. Because his brother really was telling him, you see, I've got the cattle, I've got the chickens, I've got everything from the animals. Now, if I cannot feed them, you are not going to have a steak to eat. You are not going to have milk to drink. You're not going to have ox to do your fields. You are not going to have eggs, nothing. So, is this clever? But now it was too late. Cain didn't listen. Like to tell a story about a guy who heard about this Chinese old guy, a very wise guy that gives very good advice, and he decides he's going to go to him. And he walked and go for a big distance to get to this Chinese guy. He came to his shade, and he goes in and asks him, please tell me a few good advices. He says, oh, wait a minute, I want to prepare tea. He goes in and he prepares tea, and it takes time. And time for tea for the Chinese is something like wine for the French people. Anyway, it takes time. He says, I just want a few ideas, a few good things that you can tell me. And I'm going. Chinese finally finished preparing the tea, comes out, and he pours the tea to the glass. And he pours and pours and pours, and the tea goes over the glass on the plate to the table and to the floor. So the guy said, stop! The glass is full, what are you doing? The Chinese stopped and says, you are like this glass. He says, what do you mean I'm like the glass? He says, you came here, you are full with yourself. You are not listening, you don't want to listen. I cannot tell you or teach you anything. Because you have to be, let's say, with a space to take from others, to listen, but you're all full with yourself. And this is exactly what we're doing sometimes. We don't listen. Why don't we listen? Because we're afraid that the other side is right, and if he's right, I'm going to lose. So what? You know, a lot of times in life, the other side, when we talk together, we came to an agreement, we come to a solution. Even if the other side is right, sometimes it's the best for me. But the egoistic side of us, it doesn't want to listen. It doesn't want to accept the other. He wants to only feel himself. Understand. We see it, unfortunately, on the road, we see it on the street, we see it everywhere. So maybe this is the time to start from beginning. Berechit bara Elokim. To connect our soul with the earth. To connect our Am Yisrael all together. Like a few years ago, I've been in a hotel, and we had to live in the middle of Shabbos, but we asked for permission to stay for Motzei Shabbos, and because we're good customers, they told us, okay, on Motzei Shabbos, but Motzei Shabbos you go out because there are people waiting for the room. Anyway, Motzei Shabbos came, we took our stuff. The minute we opened the room, there were 15 workers waiting outside. They went into the room. I must tell you, it was I took a picture, I took a film. In 10 minutes, the room was sparkling. 5 went to do the toilet and cleaned the toilet and the bathroom and the thing. The other one was hoovering. The other one was cleaning the windows. And the other one was organizing the bed with the sheets and everything. 10 minutes, everything was finished. This is our power. The power of being together. And Bezrat Hashem, I hope that we all will understand this connection that we have between earth and heaven. What is the task of our existence is to hope and combine the physical side with the spiritual side, not for ourselves, but for everybody, to help everybody, for love. And when we have this power of together, we can win everything. And God will see that we understand that the only way that we are going to win this war and win this world is with love, to love each other. You don't have to accept the other's opinions. No, that's not the third thing. The thing is you have to love him even though he's got different opinions. And listen to each other and try to together build a beautiful thing. All the best, and Bezrat Hashem, we should hear Bsorot Tovot, Refuah Shlema, and all the best to our soldiers that are fighting right now.